responsible, and we're going to shut you down.
County, Tennessee still aren't sure this evening just how bad a disaster they are facing after a coal ash spill that has covered neighborhoods and choked local rivers. Millions of tons of ash and sludge came pouring out when a dike at a coal plant gave way this week. But it's what's in that sludge and its potential long-term health effects that is causing the greatest worry tonight. NBC's Chief Environmental Affairs Correspondent Ann Thompson joins us now from Harriman, Tennessee with the very latest. Good evening, Ann.
Good evening, Lester. As crews clean up the mess, fears are growing here about just what that sludge contains. The potential for cancer-causing agents and toxic substances has residents here wondering who they can trust. One observer called it a witch's brew. Sludge from the Tennessee Valley Authority's Kingston coal plant fouling 300 acres in eastern Tennessee. A spill much larger than first thought. Not 1.8 million cubic yards, but 5.4 million. Enough to fill more than 1,300 Olympic-sized swimming pools with potentially toxic sludge.
Whether it's 1.8 or whether it's 5.4, we got to clean it up.
Today, the government does not regulate coal ash, something environmental activist Stephen Smith says must change.
If this was regulated, they'd know exactly how much is in there. Because it is an unregulated waste, they didn't even know exactly how much they had.
From a ruined home, Smith points out where the earthen dam broke.
And now when it ruptured, it all flowed this way.
TVA officials say the ash in the retention pond stood 60 feet high, the dam a little higher, when it gave way early Monday morning. It turned nearby Watts Bar Lake into a landfill, ruining Chris Copeland's water view and breaking his heart.
I've lost my past, my present, and my future.
For 37 years, his family has lived on this lake.
That was a boathouse.
Now he's sending his wife Deanna and daughters Maya and Allie to Florida until he's sure it's safe.
I've been hearing people talk and seeing reports about the heavy metals, the arsenic, the lead, the beryllium.
Those metals in the ash may now be in the two rivers that feed the Tennessee River system, a source of drinking water for millions. Rowan County officials are testing that water every 2 hours.
The water we test today is safe, according to our results.
Beyond the water, there are concerns the toxins could get into the riverbeds and destroy the ecosystems that live there. And then when all of this finally dries, there are worries that the toxins could turn into dust and get into the air and cause even more damage. Late this afternoon, TVA said it found elevated levels of two metals, lead and thallium, at the site where the breach occurred and nowhere else.
As far as the inert material in the ash, there's not a significant health effect. As far as the drinking water is safe.
Now, as for the cause of the breach, that still is not known, although heavy rains are suspected to have played a role. As for what will happen to all that sludge, well, the TVA says it's going to bring it right back here and store it on the power plant site. Lester?
But Ann, that's got to be an enormous task. Any estimate as to how long it would take to clean all this up?
They are being fairly optimistic at this point. They're hoping to have the road that is blocked open in time for school. That starts January 5th, and then have the entire area cleaned up within 6 weeks. They have got bulldozers and front-end loaders coming in and out of this area. We see dump trucks every 5 minutes. It's a very big job ahead of them.
Well, the pictures are just incredible. Ann Thompson in Harriman, Tennessee for us tonight. Ann, thanks.
Across the estimate is about 5.4 cubic million yards of coal fly ash that broke out after the failure of a retention wall at the Kingston fossil plant. The utility is working to determine why their initial estimate was so low. Meanwhile, one family who lost everything in Monday's slide says the generosity of friends, family, and strangers has helped this Christmas season be one of the best in spite of the devastation. The Sheens live right next to the ash retention pond, and the mud and ash buried all their Christmas presents, but co-workers, friends, and even complete strangers chipped in, donating hundreds of dollars to the family.
They gave us Walmart gift cards from people from my son's football team.
Is this the best Christmas ever, you think?
Yes.
The Sheens are still staying at a Harriman hotel, but TVA will soon place them in a rental home. Meanwhile, a boil water order has been lifted for residents of Roane County. The Roane County EMA says the spring has been tested and the water declared safe. TVA says that in spite of the increase of estimated ash, testing shows no threat to local drinking water. However, if you live in the area and have any questions, you can call the City of Kingston Water Department at 376-2323.